What is Gini coefficient? Household incomes vary from one household to another. The Gini coefficient measures the spread of household incomes across all households. To understand the Gini coefficient, we start with the Lorenz curve. This curve shows the spread of household incomes plotted on a chart. Households are first organized according to their respective household incomes, from the lowest to the highest. A line is drawn through the points where the cumulative proportion of households is plotted against the corresponding cumulative proportion of income. This is the Lorenz curve. If every household has the same income, the Lorenz curve lies along the 45-degree line. This is known as the perfect equality line, where the household incomes of all households are equally distributed. However, if one household has all the income and others have zero income, the Lorenz curve is flat at the horizontal axis before it rises to 100%, where all the income is earned by one household. This is known as the perfect inequality line. How do we calculate the Gini coefficient using the Lorenz curve? Let us call the area between the perfect equality line and the Lorenz curve as area A, and the area under the Lorenz curve as area B. The Gini coefficient is calculated by taking area A divided by the sum of areas A and B. The Gini coefficient varies between the values of 0 and 1. The Gini coefficient is 0 when the Lorenz curve coincides with the perfect equality line, which reflects perfect equality. As the Lorenz curve moves further away from the perfect equality line, the Gini coefficient increases, reflecting greater uneven spread of household incomes and subsequently greater income inequality. The Gini coefficient is 1 when the Lorenz curve coincides with the perfect inequality line, which reflects perfect inequality. The Gini coefficient is used as a measure of income inequality by countries around the world. However, comparing income inequality across countries using Gini coefficients is not straightforward. This is because different countries may use different equivalent scales, household income definitions, and household coverage. What are equivalent scales? Equivalent scales are used to adjust household incomes, allowing us to compare and analyze households with different compositions and sizes. Equivalent scales take into account the needs of a household increase with each additional member, but not proportionally so. For instance, a household with 1 member uses 1 unit of electricity, but another household with 4 members may not necessarily use 4 times as much. There is a variety of equivalent scales, and different countries may use different scales. Examples of equivalent scales include the per household member scale, modified OECD scale, and the square root scale. To explain each of these scales, let us take the example of a household with 4 members, comprising of 2 adults and 2 children, with a total household income of $4,000. When using the per household member scale, the household equivalence value is the number of household members. The equivalized household income is calculated by dividing the total household income by the equivalence value of 4. The equivalized household income is thus $1,000. When using the modified OECD scale, the household equivalence value is calculated by assigning 1 point to the first adult, 0.5 points to each additional adult, and 0.3 points to each child. In our example, the household equivalence value is 2.1, giving us an equivalized household income of $1,905. When using the square root scale, the household equivalence value is the square root of the number of household members. In this example, the equivalence value is 2. The equivalized household income is thus $2,000. Internationally, there is no standard equivalent scale recommended for general use.